Hey, this is Wileen Benson, and you are on the Daily Gratitude Call, where we start every day in gratitude. Gratitude is the highest energy state that we can be in. It creates a frequency of positive vibration that attracts positive experiences into our lives. Welcome, everybody. This is Wileen Benson. This is our Daily Gratitude Call. Thank you for joining our call today. I'm excited for what we get to work on today. I'm almost feeling like today is a little bit more than just a discovery process, but it's actually going to be taking us to the next level from where we're at right now. Several of the things that were mentioned before we started our recording today were descriptions of emotional states, contentment, abundance, adrenaline, core confidence. There was a lot of words that were mentioned that had to do with an emotional state of being, and very powerful words. And so I went with the words confident emotional state. So that's what we're going to focus on today, is gratitude for a confident emotional state. And now you can probably see why I'm thinking this is going to take us to the next level, because if you're in a confident emotional state, then it's like you're ready for anything. So we'll just see what we get to discover, what gets to happen today. I'm going to set the timer for 90 seconds. We're going to do a private silent meditation on gratitude for confident emotional state. And then we'll share. We'll see what comes up. Begin. All right. I woke up this morning with a statement in my mind. I have cause for some concerns with the new presidency, and my husband and I talked a little bit about last night. And I woke up this morning with a statement that Laura, who I'm just looking, she's not on our call today, but she's usually here, has said over and over and over again, God is sovereign. That is the statement that's like a mantra that she has whenever she starts, feeling a little bit of the kind of tossing and turning with the waves that are in the world. And I woke up with that statement this morning, God is sovereign. It was just like it was just like a relief. And as I was in this private meditation today, I think somebody in the rounds of gratitude before we started the recording said, I think it was Colleen that said, it's the end of the world as we know it. And there's a song that says, it's the end of the world as we know it. She said, but that's always the case. We're always moving forward. We're always changing. We're always stepping into the unknown. We're always doing something new. Every day is like, I don't know what today's going to bring. It's all brand new. So no matter what is happening in the world, it's the end of the world as we know it. In this moment, it's the end of the world as we know it. And that's such a comforting, I don't know, it's just such a comforting feeling that we've already been experiencing that, and that, and how powerful that mantra is, that God is sovereign. Last night I was over at my mom's house and the movie Apollo 13 was on, and that's a favorite movie. And one of the reasons why I really enjoy it so much is because I read the book Failure is Not an Option by Gene Kranz, who is one of the stars in that show. He's one of the main characters in the show. He's like the guy in Houston, that's making all the decisions and everything. And as I was watching the very beginning of that show, it just reminded me that at the beginning of that launch, it was Apollo 13. I mean, there had been many launches before that, and it was almost the space program had gotten to a commonplace. Oh yeah, we're just going to the moon. It's like not a big deal. And so a lot of people weren't even watching the launch, or, it's like just business as usual kind of thing. But then as soon as there were some challenges and problems that started coming up, the world just became riveted, just glued to the TV screen, and just wanted to know, that everything was going to work out. And God is where they turned in their hour of need. And it really brings that out in the Failure is Not an Option book. It's less in the movie, but, definitely there. That feeling that this is basically out of our hands. We've got to rely on divine providence here at this moment. And for sure the families were really sending up prayers to help bring those men home. And that is, anyway, it just all seemed to kind of come together that it is the end of the world as we know it. And also God is sovereign, and that we always can turn to him. There's never a time that he won't be there. So that's where my confident emotional state is coming from. Who else has something that they would like to share about their experience today, or about their 90-second meditation? Mary?
I'll share. The first thing that came to me is just how grateful I am excuse me, for the peace in quiet confidence. And the quiet confidence comes from the confident emotional state. This weekend, I learned or experienced that there is definitely a different outcome when you are in a quiet or a confident emotional state. There's strength, and there's an open, there's just no ruffling of, you're just confident. You're clear. It's open. You're open. There's a feeling of abundance, like anything is possible, and there's peace in that as well. And I won't explain the situation, but that's just what I got from anybody else being unsure, unclear, they've got whatever's going on around you. You can still be that anchor in that confident emotional state.
Beautiful. Thank you. Yes, absolutely. And we can be that for other people. It's so powerful. Those of you who start the day out with gratitude every day, you're here on the gratitude call, and you start out your day in this just high vibration. And a lot of people don't do that. So we can be that for other people. Thank you. Let's see. I think Robert, and let's go with Robert right now. Thank you.
Can I just add this?
Sure.
I just add this before Robert talks? Is that, you mentioned that those of us on the call, you may not feel it initially on this call, but I can't believe I've been on this call since November 2016. That's just crazy. And I think, maybe progress sometimes looks a little slow, but it's a buildup to that confident emotional state is a process, I think. For me, it has been. And I just, the starting your day like this is just, it builds that confident emotional state.
Beautiful. I love that. Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Robert.
Well, I appreciate that that thought of confident emotional state, because sometimes it's hard to find that confident emotional state where I know that God is in charge, but then things happen that make you question that. And your confident emotional state in God wanes, and then failure comes into your mind.
Mm.
And I've had to reach deeper into me to find that emotional state that's connected to God, that's stable, that somehow life will be okay. And because sometimes it's hard,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't want to move forward. You don't want to go on because of the difficulties that happen. And it's not like it's probably because of the divorce process of having to go through is such a painful process. Unfortunately, I have a friend that is a very godly woman, and I realized over the weekend or end of last week, my lawyer, my mother, sounded, maybe that's more truth to that than
Mm-hmm.
I want to admit. She had called me and I wouldn't answer the phone, and then texted me and I wouldn't look at the text, which I still haven't, and was given emails and I wouldn't look at the emails, and I sent them to my friend who's a godly woman, and I said, here, read these. I can't read these because it hurts too much. And so I had her read those to me because I had to find a space, and I actually decided, because of turning negative into positive, I decided that instead of thinking end of the world thoughts on my behalf, I thought of how can I turn my feelings into positive, at least the best I could. And I wrote a preface to the book in hopes that, because one of the things I realized was the pain of the pain of childhood was so beat out of me that it was this divorce process that has brought the pain back into me.
Mm.
And then I realized, if that's why I wanted to commit suicide when I was 10 years old, I can understand why I must have wanted to put those feelings aside and end life, because it was so painful, and those feelings came back, and I believe now I have to go back in and trust the process of God, that he did what he said he would do, which was to watch over me.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, so I appreciate what the purpose of the gratitude call was today, and so yeah, thank you.
Thank you. We all have situations in our lives where we kind of forget or shift out of a confident emotional state. I think, all of us, before we were exposed to the real life, not even real life, but just life itself, earthly life, before we were exposed to that we all were confident enough in our spiritual state to be able to come here. So we all came here with this confident emotional state. Yep, no matter what my situation is, if I go into an abusive home, if I go into, a homeless family, or, wherever I'm going, I am confident that I'm going to be successful. I'm sure that we all had that feeling as we were coming here, and then being exposed to earthly trials and situations that are very trying for us, that we can shift into a different emotional state. And we're constantly, we have lots of emotions that we're blessed with. And there are times when we really need to protect ourselves, when we're too vulnerable, when we're just too vulnerable is maybe the best word to use, that we can't take, like we'll be just broken if we have one more thing added on to us. And what a wonderful blessing, Robert, to have this Christian woman, godly woman, that you could trust to read these emails, trust with your deepest, the things that would be the hardest for you, that you could trust her with that, and that she was strong enough, that she was a rock for you, that strength for you, like Mary was talking about, that she had
Yeah.
herself to a point where she could read these things from a third party perspective, and then be able to possibly offer them to you in a way that would not break you. And
Yes.
what a beautiful partnership that God has created for you right now in this moment. And I'm just, going back to, God having control, that he has all of us in his hands. And no matter what our situation is, he's provided means for us to be able to. He's not going to give us something that we can't handle, and he will protect us. He will help to protect us so that we can survive until we're ready to shift back into that confident emotional state again.
Yes. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you. Appreciate you sharing that. Colleen and then Melissa.
My screens keep shifting, and I pushed it here and pushed it there, and it just kept on shifting. I was sort of lighthearted until I heard Robert, and now I just was almost in tears because I've been there, and the choices are so real, but hard to identify and hard to really shift out of without some gentle, godly person at your side. And so many times that's been Wileen for me, to shift out of feeling rejected and feeling unwanted. And, but I think that that's the beautiful thing about life, is there's always options to feel something different, and to feel, to manipulate, just like we manipulate with therapies and other things, but to manipulate and see the goodness in going through pain so that we can still love wholeheartedly, but yet do it wisely, where we don't give our most meaningful moments or thoughts or weaknesses to somebody that will use them and hurt you through that. But and to choose to be that kind of person, what a wonderful person that person is that's in your life. And I'm grateful for it too, Robert. I just as I was going through this, it was because the pain I was in last week and not being able to get anything done and being tired of not doing what I want to do because my knee stops me, and thinking all the time, there's another option to surgery. And I got an appointment for the doctor today, and that it's almost, I've already divorced myself from the medical field. And now I have to go back, and it's sort of humbling, but I can't keep going on. And a therapy that is has any hope for me to really, and there is risks, and there's problems with trusting the medical field, but it is the end of the world as we know it when we put our trust in a field that is so manipulated right now. And I don't know if you guys can all see it, but I saw it even 30 years ago when I was working there, that suddenly people didn't have a whole lot of options, and it may become of a necessity, but to trust and to realize that the whole field is not condemned, and and it does a lot of good, and I can certainly step out of that hurt field and to recognize that, hey, you've got something I need, I'll do it, and I will go ahead. And I haven't even put on a mask since the start, and I'm going to have to wear a mask. So I will jump through the hoops,
Awesome. It's a really great opportunity. That humility, I think, is a really good shifting emotional and a good emotional state for us to be in, to shift from one state to another. Humility to trust somebody, even with the story that, the experience that Robert shared, it takes a lot of humility to be able to open up to someone. And for you also, I think humility is a good shifting energy. It's not like something that we have to be conscious of and, be in all the time, but I think it's a good shifting energy. Thank you. Melissa.
That's actually perfect for what I was thinking about, shifting energy, because so every Monday I write a Monday motivation email to my newsletter, or my email list. And this Monday I wrote about the thought, I'm right on track, and how whether you're in a place like Robert where everything's kind of just falling apart, or you're just kind of feeling like not 100%, like I'm kind of failing here and here and here, and all this evidence around me says I'm just not good enough. A thought that you can shift to is, I'm right on track. I'm right on track. I'm right on track. And I love that you said confident. What is it? Confident emotion?
Confident emotional state. Mm-hmm.
Emotional state. Because I was like, that's it. That's the next step. After you shift into I'm right on track, and really fully believe that what is happening in my life right now is supposed to be happening. Nothing's going wrong. I'm right where I need to be.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have so much energy to move forward and start actually making things happen for yourself. And so I think next week I want to write about confident emotional state.
I love it. And if you feel okay with it, totally put the link to this gratitude today. That would be awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
I love that. Just shifting into I'm on the right track, even just thinking that is like a total trust in God, right? Because we can't see it. And if we aren't there, if we don't believe we're on the right track, then all of a sudden we're like looking back and saying, oh, there was a fork in the road back there. I should have taken that. So all of a sudden we're looking back at the path that we, instead of looking forward and looking towards where we're going, we're all of a sudden looking back and questioning decisions that we made, which obviously that's just going to be extra time going back, trying to find a different place. But if we believe that we're on the right track, that's total trust in, okay, I know God can take me anywhere from anywhere. So I'm right here and I know I'm on the right track. I have no idea where I'm going. And then just ask for the next step. That's
Exactly.
so powerful. I
Yeah,
love that.
that's exactly what I was going to say.
Beautiful.
Thanks.
Thank you. Mary.
One of the things that I was grateful for this morning was that in some new declarations I've created was using silliness and play to burn off stress. And sometimes when we are right in the middle of a heavy situation, we feel like we're just stuck there. And it's so important to get outside, to burn off stress, to be silly and be playful. And, I just wanted to say that, and find somebody that will do that with you. Yeah.
I think there has been a statement that's been around for who knows how many, probably 100 years. Laughter is the best medicine. So yeah, if there's a way that we can kind of change our emotional state from one of like worry and fear, laughter is the best way to do that. And that can be a shift into a confident state as well. So thank you for that tool, Mary. That's awesome. Any last thoughts before we shift over to our permission process?
I was just going to say that, sometimes just making that choice to shift,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes just that first step is sort of tough. It's sort of tough. But yet you feel better as you do it, and you feel better as you practice, and it's sort of like starting a physical therapy. You think, this can't be right. It hurts too bad,
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you get up and you say, holy cow, I can walk, and it's not painful. So,
Just
sometimes that pain,
mm-hmm.
The choice to just take that step and take a deep breath and breathe and breathe that life in, and just it starts with a breath, I think.
Awesome. Thank you. We've got Crystal and then Tyree, and I think Mary still has her hand up. So if there's anything else you'd like to share as well. Crystal.
Yes, I loved Mary's idea about the silliness. And like this morning, I like to go for a swim. I'm going through some of the greatest trials of my life. But when I go swim, I'm like doing water aerobics. I'm all by myself. I have some music playing, and I'm acting like I'm a trapeze artist, like swimming in the water. And like I have crowds, like this lady's an incredible dancer. And I've only had like 2 years of dance in my life. But I just had this like happy moment in my imagination. And it just helps so much.
That's so awesome. Thank you, Crystal. I can just visualize all that. Robert says it's a proverb, a merry heart doeth good as medicine. Awesome. Mary says, yes, breath, deep breathing is so important. Great. Tyree.
I was just going to add that a lot of times I will feel indecisive and I will feel unsure of myself. But as soon as I receive that assurance from the Lord that I am moving forward, that I'm moving forward the right way, I don't need anybody else's assurances or anybody else's okay. I can't think of the right word, but anybody else's okay or approval, because I have the Lord's approval, and that's enough.
Beautiful. Yes. Did you have something else?
That's it.
Okay. Thank you. Yes, absolutely. I've felt that too, that, especially, when we're at the end of the world as we know it, and we're stepping into the unknown, it's so easy to go to somebody and say, what do you think about this? Do you think this is okay? Like, this is new. I've never done this before. And and for people to give their opinion, it's absolutely pointless, to even get anybody else's opinion, because we already know that's our path. We already know that's what we're supposed to be doing because we've been inspired. That's our inspired shortcut. So yeah, when we have that assurance from God, that's all we need. We just need to step forward. In fact, let's go ahead and take a moment right now and take a deep breath and just get into that state of being right now, that confident state of being, that confident emotional state of knowing God knows the way. Just take a deep breath and just allow yourself to step into that confident state of knowing God knows, and we are just going to go ask. So take one more deep breath. Put a smile on your face and just feel that confidence seeping through all of your body, into your bones, into your cells, into everything, every area of your body, just feeling confidence buoy you up. And if there's a situation in your life or a decision that you've been wanting to make but have doubted, or just been worried about, did I make the right decision to even get myself here? Just I love that idea that Melissa had talked about, is just say to yourself, I'm on the right track. And then go into that God space of connecting with Him and knowing that this is a place where new creation gets to happen. And that only God knows where you're going. And so just ask, what is the one most important thing that I could do today to help me continue forward in confidence with regard to this area of your life, this situation in your life, or this decision that you're needing to make, knowing I'm on the right track. And what is the one most important thing I can do today to keep me moving forward on the right track? And then also listen for any limiting beliefs that might be showing up, because that those limiting beliefs, that pain or darkness or limiting thoughts that would stop you, they're just little stumbling blocks along the way, but they're also blessings. We can express gratitude for these limiting beliefs that come up, because it's like, this is the next boulder you need to crawl over or move out of the way, shove off the mountainside, blast it with a laser, whatever it is. This is the next thing that is just in your path. And as soon as you get rid of this, then you're home free until the next limiting belief comes up. But you know how to do that. We have our permission process. And so just identify what that limiting belief is, and then take a moment and just take a look at that obstacle that's in your path. You're on the right track, and you've been given this inspired shortcut to move forward. And if there's a limiting belief there, it's just one thing, one easy thing that needs to be shoved aside or obliterated so that you can continue moving forward. But if you allow that to stay there, think about how hard it is to climb over that boulder, and that if it's allowed to remain, that it will just keep popping up. These limiting beliefs tend to create patterns, and so it will continue to pop up in your path unless you choose to take care of it right now, to give yourself permission to choose something different. And not only for you that it will keep popping up, but because it keeps popping up, it will also affect the way that you can influence the world. And possibly people that would follow you in your footsteps would have those same obstacles still there that they would have to climb over. So what is the cost? What is the cost in the eternal perspective of letting those limiting beliefs stay there? So just identify that limiting belief and examine the cost of it, the full ramifications of it. And then make the decision right now in your heart. Do you want to keep that limiting belief or do you want to get rid of it? And if you're ready to give yourself permission to get rid of that limiting belief and choose some new beliefs to take its place, say yes.
Absolutely, yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. So now's the time and to replace that limiting belief with some new beliefs. I'm just going to invite you to use your imagination, just like Crystal does when she goes swimming and she can see herself as this wonderful trapeze artist or dancer that people are applauding for. See yourself as in a confident emotional state with regard to this limiting belief. What are you able to do in a confident emotional state? How are you able to clear this limiting belief out and just allow your imagination to create that for you? Allow the perfect resting place for that limiting belief. And then also choosing some new beliefs that will take the place of it, kind of create a bridge over the crater or the emptiness that this limiting belief has left by being gone out of your life. What new beliefs will take the place of it? 2 to 3 new beliefs will create a bridge over where this limiting belief used to be and will allow you to easily, effortlessly, confidently, and clearly be able to continue moving forward along your path, the right track. And just maybe take a look back for just a moment and seeing the people that are following you and the gratitude that you must feel and whatever emotional feelings you're having from the courage that you had and the confidence that you had to make the path easier for someone else and for yourself. And then finally, just envisioning arriving at that final destination where everything has been accomplished, where you are finished, you are done, it's perfect. Everything, all things have come together for your good because you trusted that you were on the right path. You trusted God to give you your inspired shortcuts, and you trusted that if you got rid of that limiting belief, that you would still be able to continue moving forward, that this limiting belief that kept you, was trying to keep you safe, it really was fine to just let it go. And these new beliefs were actually way more empowering. So just feel yourself arriving at that destination and write down whatever those things look like. And if it helps, you can put these on your vision board so that you can know where you're headed. And in a moment, I'm going to open it up for just a couple of quick shares. We have just a couple of minutes. And in the meantime, as you're kind of gathering your thoughts together, I just want to invite anyone that's feeling like they need some extra support to go to askwilene.com and schedule a 15-minute call with me. We'll take you directly to my calendar and you can schedule some time for us to have a conversation. Askwilene.com is how you do that. Crystal.
So I'm going through some trials, and in the morning, getting out of bed, I feel like I'm in a swamp. It's really hard to get out of bed. And then during the day, I feel like I'm floating like a kite. Like I just feel like I'm not grounded. And yesterday, as I drove home from church, there was 2 horses yoked together pulling a wagon. And I just had to drive slowly. And I was like, I am not in a swamp. I am yoked with Christ. I am not floating. I am walking beside the Savior. I am not alone.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you, Crystal. Any last thoughts before we end our call today?
I would just like to share one of my limiting or new beliefs. I'm in a confident emotional state, and I move forward confidently.
Beautiful. Thank you. And I just want to go back to what Crystal was saying. How much more confident could we be? I mean, that is just like the best place to find a confident emotional state, knowing that we're yoked with Christ. Thank you. Rachel.
I just wanted to tell Crystal, thank you for being on the call today, because my belief is I am a crystal, and I am clear, and I am rolling forward with the sacred bubble because I need to feel protected and confident in my steps because I'm making huge strides as well. And so I just wanted to say thank you for being on the call, Crystal.
Wow, beautiful. Thank you.
Oh, Wileen, I'm sorry.
That's
I
okay.
feel like I need to share this. I am on the right track. My limiting beliefs were they won't want to work with me, or they won't work with me. And my new beliefs are, in addition to what I shared, is I am easy to work with. I have many people who work with me.
I love it.
And yeah, that's it.
Those are awesome. Thank you. Thank you. That confident emotional state really comes when we see ourselves as enough. That really is what it all boils down to, is just knowing that God loves us and we are enough because we're children of God. It's just so empowering, so confidence building to know that. Thank you so much. I appreciate everybody's comments, and do share this. I know that there are some people who are not in a confident emotional state right now. So I really encourage you to share it, even if you're not sharing it with one in particular person. If you want to just share it on your personal Facebook page or on your Instagram, the link or whatever, and just say, hey, if anybody's not feeling very in a confident emotional state right now, you need to listen to this call. So you can do good that way. There's a lot that we can do by sharing gratitude out to the world. Thanks, everyone. And we will look forward to being back together tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. Love you guys.
Love you too.
Love you. Thank you.
Everyone.
Hey, thanks so much for listening. And I encourage you to tune in every day to the Daily Gratitude Call. And the Daily Gratitude Call happens live every weekday morning. I'd love to have you join. So to find out how to join live, go to my website, WileenBenson.com. Thanks for tuning in.